This video will show how I built the actual slate mine area of my layout. After doing some research, the material I thought that would be most suitable was 10mm thick, high density black foam sheets. Because the quarry covers quite a large area, I built it up separately in individual modules so that these could be joined together once they were all completed. Once I'd got the basic shape of each module how I wanted them, I then proceeded to give them some depth by adding on further pieces of foam sheet. These were intended to represent the abutments and slabs of rock that were protruding from the face of the quarry. The smaller pieces were carved and textured in order to represent the irregular surfaces that you see in quarries. Also, using a selection of different files and cutters, I made a series of indentations in the face of the main quarry wall. The pieces for each section were then assembled using PVA glue. Once everything was dry, it was given a full coat of paint. Because it was such a large area to cover, I used a pot of grey paint that I had previously prepared. This was made from a selection of relatively cheap artist's acrylic grey paint. The next stage of the process was to paint some MIG earth brown into the cracks and crevices of the slate face where earth might have accumulated. Once the MIG earth paint had dried, the next thing I used was a watery PVA mix that I had previously prepared. This was painted into the areas where I wanted to show signs of vegetation growing. Then I sprinkled on a selection of grass flocks and allowed the glue to set. We were now ready to do a dry run of the quarry assembly, so the pieces were put in place without gluing to check for fit and alignment. Two further pieces were tried at this stage. The first was the workman's blast shelter, which was located just outside the tunnel entrance. And secondly, a loco shelter building, where any locos working in the vicinity during blasting could move for shelter. So with everything in place, the last thing to check was the loco clearance going into the mine. The normal locos working in the quarry would be the little quarry hunslets. But to be on the safe side for this test, I used a mainline hunslet, knowing that if this fitted okay, everything else would. So here is a final test run after everything has been secured in place. The bulk of the landscaping is now done in this area, but I still need to find more machinery and components associated with slate working in order to fill it out and make it look more complete.